Give us this day our daily bread. Why would Jesus tell us to pray that if God had no intention of providing for us? Hi folks, Father Columba here. You're watching Little by Little. I want to read you a quote from one of my favorite authors, Erasmo Lavakakis. He says, chapter 6, verse 24, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon." You should note that the Sermon on the Mount may be Jesus' most important teaching. It starts, the very first words are, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of God." And then it comes that this theme of how we relate to money comes back over and over. And throughout Jesus' teaching, it's really important. This is what Erasmus says. "The worship of money is unmasked at a deeper level as the cult of anxiety as the normal state of our soul." The worship of money. So that's why Jesus is going after this, because we have such an inclination towards the worship of money. So he connects this thing that we think is just, well, it's just a mental health issue. But it actually can start to tip into the whole area of religion and spirituality. It can actually become a thing I worship. What is the thing you trust in? What is the thing that you rely on? Like just going out the door, oh, do I have my card? Oh, I'm grand. Do I have a bit of cash? I'm grand. That's something of it. Or do we walking out there like, oh, does God love me? Yeah, everything's grand. Will God look after me? Oh, grand. No bother. I fall into this temptation a lot. He continues. So this cult of anxiety as the normal state of the soul, inseparable from the unquestionable assumption that I alone will provide for my needs, that I am dreadfully alone on the bleak landscape of my life. Oh my gosh. The unquestionable assumption that I alone will provide for my needs. Do you ever feel, let's just even needs aside, do you ever feel like desperately alone? Like, oh, I have to do this thing and I can't do it. When I get to that place, I'm like, wow, my soul doesn't know that it's not alone. It thinks it has to do this all alone. It doesn't know it has a father. It's an orphan. Part of my soul is an orphan right there, that I'm on this bleak landscape. I had this moment recently, kind of where my soul had this realization, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. It's like, oh, and I felt it. And it was nice that I got the revelation of it because it wasn't that way anymore, rather than this constant feeling of like, I'm so alone. Sometimes my soul feels that way, but my brain doesn't realize that that's what's actually going on. Do we sometimes feel desperately alone that we have to do this thing? I think sometimes like of single parents, oh my gosh, how difficult that must be. How difficult to not feel alone. And I have to do this thing. That is understandable that we would feel that way, but it is also an act of distrust in God. There's an aspect of faith involved there. And it's rejecting the reality and the truth that God is with you. And he says, I will look after you. He promises he will look after you. He promises he's a father. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Why would Jesus tell us to pray that if God had no intention of providing for us? Daily bread, is a reference to the manna in the desert, where for 40 years was fed every morning by the hand of God. The Lord will give us what we need for today. He will give us what we need. Can we trust him, or do we get into that place of anxiety? He continues, in what must be the most Franciscan passage of the gospel, Jesus is attempting to persuade our soul of the dazzling glory, the enchanting beauty that attends poverty of spirit. Another name for the freedom enjoyed by the children of God. So this is why Jesus starts his most important sermon with, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And guys, read the Gospels. It comes up over and over and over again. It is one of the most important themes that Jesus talks about. Where is your heart? What is it that we trust in? That is where God belongs, and God alone. What do I trust? Guys, I've got so many things other than God that I put my trust in. Just saying. And I say that so that it's maybe easier for you to say, yeah, maybe. You don't feel judged, because I find it hard. If someone goes, points the finger and I feel condemned, it's very hard for me to humble myself and say, gosh, you're right. Because I'm defensive. I'm feeling attacked. So that's why I say that. It's like, yeah, there's stuff I trust in. And my trust in God sometimes is very, very weak. But he is worthy of our trust. He's trustworthy. And he promises. And have we tested that? Have we experienced that to be true? Are we trying to grow in that? These things always start, the change in these areas always starts with awareness. So if some of you become more like, oh my gosh, there's so much anxiety in my life. Okay. And what's your attitude towards money? What's your attitude towards God in the midst of your money struggles? We want to strive after poverty of spirit, which doesn't mean I have nothing and I'm constantly living hand to mouth and I'm totally cool with that. That's not what that means. Poverty of spirit, you could be a millionaire, a billionaire, and live in true poverty of spirit, where you're like, I have this money, I'm good at getting it, but I do not trust in it. It is not what I rely on. I rely on God. And that's super easy if you're a billionaire, I presume, to do. But what I'm saying is, like, the thing to chase after is not get rid of all your money, get rid of all your money. It's God is at the center. You could even make that a practice as I go out the door. Keys, wallet, and reverse it, rosary. Key, wallet, rosary. Reverse it and go, God first. Without you, I'm lost. Thank God for Erasmo Maracakis. If you haven't got that book, I love, he's got, what's it, four volumes, massive volumes, on all commenting on Matthew's Gospel. Just one of them, guys, will keep you going for the rest of your life. It's amazing. So there you go. I totally stole that talk. God bless you. Bye-bye.